Okay, hey everyone, welcome to my channel. As you enter, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to engage and to, give us your point of view. So, you all, during a recent rally at Madison Square Garden, Trump's campaign faced significant backlash from Puerto Ricans following controversial remarks made by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe. Many viewed his comments as racially insensitive, igniting outrage within the Puerto Rican community and its allies. Critics argued that the remarks perpetuated harmful stereotypes and dismissed the challenges faced by Puerto Ricans, particularly in the wake of natural disasters and ongoing economic struggles. This incident has further strained relationships between Trump's campaign and Puerto Rican voters, highlighting the importance of respect in political dialogue. Okay, who's here tonight? Let's see. Um, so hey Gwen and everybody that's sitting out there watching but not putting in your comments, but that's fine. I'm glad you're here. Just long as you like the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're open to anyone to want to discuss. Yesterday I put out a message to Trump supporters. They wanted to come up as they flow through here throughout the live. You're more than welcome to come up. I always drop a link for anyone to come up and have a discussion. So let me turn on my fan because I'm hot. so so there has been backlash of the nasty joke that was told by Tony Hinchcliffe. And if you have forgotten about it, let me remind you. Okay.
It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. No, it is.
So the joke was really nasty. Very it was a very racial joke. He told racial jokes, while he was standing there. He talked about black folks eating watermelon and all this other kind of stuff he was saying about Hispanic people and everything else, which is very derogatory and demeaning to people, especially the Puerto Rican people who are Americans. They're not is they're part of America, right? So so Bad Bunny came out and he basically said, was upset. He tweeted something. Jennifer Lopez tweeted that she was backing Kamala Harris. Bad Bunny did so too. And Ricky Martin, I believe. And so now there's this backlash. Um, on TikTok, they are showing Puerto Rican people who are going in to vote. They're voting for Kamala Harris. They're no longer, who were once Republicans, are no longer, you know, said they couldn't take it anymore when it comes to Donald Trump and the rhetoric. Okay. So a article from let me go here first. So an article from Newsweek. It says Donald Trump responds to the Puerto Rican remarks. And basically, as Donald Trump does, he's distancing himself because the backlash is huge. There are, I believe, 5 million Puerto Ricans that live in America, in the states, between Allentown, where he is, in Pennsylvania. There's, I believe, close to a million there, in Pennsylvania alone, in Florida. So they're everywhere. Puerto Ricans live everywhere in New York, Florida, and Pennsylvania. They're everywhere. They're here now in Georgia as well. So making remarks like that is wasn't a smart move on the part of who was ever running that campaign and allowed that man to get up there, and Mr. Henchman to get up there and make statements like that. So I'm going to read you a little bit of this article from Newsweek that says former President Donald Trump has distanced himself from a comment about Puerto Rico made by a speaker at his Sunday rally at Madison Square Garden in New York. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe sparked widespread backlash after he described the U.S. territory as an island of floating garbage. On Tuesday, Trump told ABC News Rachel Scott, "I don't know him." That's typical of Donald Trump, right? Someone put him up there. It's your campaign. You should know who it is. You should always know. That's like when Oprah said, "You never let anyone else sign your checks. You always sign your name on your checks." Right? Remember when she told that to Tony Braxton when Tony Braxton had filed bankruptcy and it hurt her feelings that Oprah made that statement to her. You never allow anyone, if you're in a presidential campaign as such, if you're supposed to be the head, which you always say, you know so much about everything. Donald Trump, he knows everything. He's the smartest man in the whole wide world. And so he should literally say, check, check. No, that's not going up. I need to know what you're going to say. This is a political campaign. This is not a correspondence dinner, where this guy is going to roast, or this is not a roasting event. This is a campaign event. So, of course, you're going to get backlash, and it's not, but it's not funny. And you allow these jokes to, for this man to say these jokes. You didn't vet it. They're claiming that they didn't vet the jokes, but some are saying that they did, and some are saying that they don't. I can't believe the MAGA campaign, because all they do is lie. So I'm gonna go with that. They knew the joke was going to be told. Okay. And that's my opinion. Following the rally, a Trump campaign spokesperson said, "This joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or the campaign." Well, we remember when they had a hurricane, I can't remember the name of the hurricane that was bad and it devastated Puerto Rico. And Donald Trump went to Puerto Rico, and it took him a minute to go to Puerto Rico because he didn't want to go because he didn't think Puerto Rico was America. And he went there and he threw paper towels. So we all remember that incident, right? Hinchcliffe responded to criticism about the jokes from Harris running mate Tim Walz with a defiant message on X. This is what Hinchman said. "These people have no sense of humor. Wild that a vice president candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. I love Puerto Rico and vacation there. I made fun of everyone. Watch the whole set. I'm a comedian. Tim might be time to change your tampon," he wrote. So he continues to go on. Maria, thank you. He continues to go on and still make these crass little nasty jokes. Well, no one's laughing at it. Okay. So it's not funny. So Bad Bunny, who has, I believe they say he has 45 million followers. He's like a superstar in the Puerto Rican atmosphere. I mean, this. He's like Michael Jackson was to us growing up. He is, the end all to be all for Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans. They love him. And he has, I mean, my husband loves him. My husband's not Puerto Rican, but my husband loves Bad Bunny. My very, very, very good friend is Puerto Rican, and he loves Bad Bunny. He dressed up like Bad Bunny for Halloween. I mean, it was funny. But anyway, I digress. And so he's big in the Latin atmosphere. Huge. So it says here, this is the article for NBC News. It says, ahead of Donald Trump's Tuesday appearance in the heavily Latino city of Allentown, Pennsylvania, a comedian's racist joke about Puerto Ricans at the former president's Madison Square Garden rally drew fresh backlash. In an editorial endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris, Puerto Rico's largest national newspaper, El Nuevo Dia, expressed anguished outrage over the remark made Sunday at the New York rally. Today, all of us who love this beautiful garden of America and of the world feel aching inside, and our hearts are tight with rage and pain, the editorial stated. Trump has for years maintained a discourse of contempt and misinformation against the island that reveals an obsession and a disdain for a people who do not have the power of the vote to defend themselves. Since the 3 million American citizens who live in Puerto Rico cannot vote in the president elections, the editorial stated. However, the other 5 million who live in the United States, whom they also labeled as trash, can vote. Okay? So it's 5 million people that live in the States and 3 million that live on the island that cannot vote. One of those 5 million Puerto Rican voters in Allentown residents, Efrain Davila, he told NBC News he believes Trump does let it happen, referring to the jokes taking aim at his homeland. Davila, an independent voter who has previously voted Republican, said he's no longer supporting the party because it is all about Trumpism and MAGA. Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny added to the firestorm over the remarks, publishing on Tuesday a breathtaking 8-minute video narrated by Oscar winning Puerto Rican actor Benicio del Toro. The video showcases with stunning cinematography how Puerto Rican people have endured trials and tribulations throughout history and have beat the odds to excel as world-renowned artists, activists, athletes, and political activists. Bad Bunny captioned the poignant and powerful video garbage on his Instagram. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to load this up and we're gonna watch this video. It's like, I believe, like 5 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Alrighty, let me pull this video up. Let's see. There it is. Oh, that ain't it. That ain't it. Hold on for a sec. All right. And it is in Spanish, by the way. So excuse me. Okay, Joe, Puerto Rican for Trump, do your thing, honey. That's on you, bro.
Esta es la crónica de una estrella que saltó desde el fondo de un gran volcán debajo del mar hacia otra galaxia. Es la crónica de una leyenda que representa lo que late en estas latitudes. De allá arriba, entes celestes pintaron un archipiélago acá abajo. nació una raza recia. Es una historia que se empezó a escribir incluso antes de que Irán Bison fuera el primero en pichear y de que Roberto Clemente y Peruchín Cepeda le hablaran español al universo.
El día más grande de mi vida, para los nenes, la bendición mía y que mi padre me eche mi bendición en Puerto Rico.
Se escribe antes de que se volviera inmortal todo esto. Desde Cooperstown,
desde mi querido Vega Baja y la isla del encanto Puerto Rico,
hasta Dorado, donde Edgar y Yadier todavía hacen sueño. De hecho, es una historia que se narra todos los días. Tu mamá y tu papá vivían esta historia cada mañana cuando te llevaban a la escuela para coger después el tapón para el trabajo. Es la misma historia que escribieron Lola y Agüeybaná cuando no se dejaron meter las cabras de los invasores. Esta crónica la escribe Mrs. Rodríguez en una pizarra de un salón de una escuela de las que no se han vendido. Este es el relato de la raza que sabe lo que fue la noche de anoche, que sigue a los moribí, resistente y pico. Y de la mano de los que vinieron antes, defendemos nuestra playa, nuestra universidad y nuestra niñez.
The passion of doing, of producing, of thinking, of dealing with making the world a better place.
Porque es que las leyendas que laten en estas latitudes no se dejan.
Miriam Colón.
Vamos libre de odio, eso sí. Lo que pasa es que esta raza no es pendeja. Esta es la huella de los bueyes que salieron del balde, pero siguen en el barrio contra viento y marea. Y nos vestimos así, como hizo antes Luisa Capetillo y como hacen ahora April y Nina. Aquí tenemos las faldas y los pantalones bien puestos. No sé si me entienden, pero esto va de cora porque esto no es de ahora. Hace tiempo que somos una constelación de Julias, de Silvias, de Amanda. Hace tiempo que somos un arrecife de Wilfredo, de Miguel, de Tito. Somos reyes, reinas, campeones. Somos leyendas.
Todos tenemos una meta, una aspiración, una cumbre, y tú la vas a lograr.
Gracias, buenas noches. Venimos desde abajo, sin ahorro y partiendo el ay bendito. Acá seguimos a las millas. Esta crónica va escrita por luceros que saben brillar en el Olimpo.
Supreme Court of the United States.
Fluidez de oro.
The Puerto Rican for the very first time, Jasmine Camacho Quinn. Monica Quigg has become the first gold medalist from Puerto Rico.
Es el ADN de lo que late en estas latitudes, lo que ha escrito esta historia. Este es el archipiélago leyenda al que perteneces. Yo soy lo que tú eres. tierra de Juan Tisol, Daniel Santos, Roberto Roena, Dani Rivera, Ernita Nazario, y seguimos. Tierra de la bomba, la plena, la salsa, reggaetón y todo lo que te dé la gana bailar. Maelo, Cheo, Andy, La Voz, Yankee, René, Calderón, Bad Bunny. Él no es el mejor en estos días solo por ser Bad Bunny, sino por ser Benito, por ser boricua. A nosotros nos sale natural ser leyenda, porque al final no hay orgullo más grande en cada logro que el de decir yo soy de P-fucking-R.
Okay, so, and I love him because he's a great actor. So that was just a beautiful video, Puerto Rico, to me. And so that was on Bad Bunny PR. That's Bad Bunny's IG account if you want to go look at it. I couldn't translate it for you because I don't speak very good Spanish. So I know a little bit, but couldn't translate it with that quickness. So anyway, Bad Bunny is a superstar. People love him, and Puerto Ricans are beautiful people. They're wonderful Americans, okay? And they should be treated with respect, regardless if it was a joke that you were trying to, put forth and you made fun of everybody. So he says, Mr. Tony says that he made fun of everyone. I didn't hear him make a joke about, Donald Trump and his celebrity and Hulk Hogan coming out trying to tear up his shirt. You didn't make fun of those people. You didn't make fun of people like them. You made fun of people of color in your joke. And you made I didn't get the Jewish joke. I didn't get that joke at all, but whatever. Anyway, so like I said, Donald Trump is trying to distance himself from the joke. And let me go through this article real quick. So Trump was at a Hispanic Federation, I believe it was. Hold on just a second. So Trump went to Allentown and he sat with some people there, I guess. And basically those people were supporting Donald Trump. And Donald Trump not one time apologized for the joke. He didn't, mention the video. We know that Donald Trump is not going to apologize because it's just not in him. It's not who he is. Donald Trump is not a kind person. Now, people may surround themselves with him, or who are around him. They may say, "Oh no, he's not like this. He's just a joke. He's a bro. He's a tough guy." Blah blah blah. But a joke like that, and if you want to be president of the United States, I think you should humble yourself, Donald Trump, and say, you know what, that was a bad joke. It was a joke, but it was a bad one, and I don't think like that, and I don't feel like that about my Puerto Rican Americans and in the island of Puerto Rico. I don't feel that way, and that's all he has to say. But Donald Trump is such a narcissist; it is hard for him to do that. He will never do that. In the article that I'm reading, they said that he never mentioned the joke. He distanced himself and said he don't even know who that is. I don't know who he is. They put him up there. I don't know who this guy is. Like I said, if you are a true businessman and you are concerned about the way your business is running or about your how people see you, you will come forth and say, you will be sure to vet. Oh, this is a comedian and he's a well-known, has the #1 podcast in the world, and you know what he's about. They had to come to you and say, we're going to get Tony Hinchman to do stand-up. He's a comedian. and he's known for roasting. He's world known, the number one in the world podcast. And you don't question it. You don't say, well, let me sit down and see some of his stuff. Since you are this business tycoon and the big businessman who knows business, you don't sit down and say, let me vet this stuff before y'all put it out there, because you're representing me, a person that's running for American president, who, people are trying to use nasty rhetoric against me, and I'm going to stand up at Madison Square Garden and let them spew racist and hateful things. What it does, what it shows me is that that's who you are and you okay with it. So you are lazy and you allow people just to do things for you without looking over yourself. That tells me that you are lazy. And what it tells me is that if you get into the White House, which you won't, you are going to sit there and be lazy this 4 years the way you were lazy the last 4 years that you were in office. You did nothing. You played golf all day, every day, and hold up a stack of papers and tell us, oh, this is what I have to read every day. I have to read this stuff about, and then you're over there playing golf. It was impossible to read this much stack of paper. Remember? Do y'all remember when he had stacks and stacks of papers sitting behind him? And he was saying that I have to read all these stacks and stacks of papers. All this, I have to read this. My team has to go through this. He didn't do that. Okay. And it shows me the lack of concern, or the lack of the ability to sit down with someone and say, I need to find out what's about to go out on stage. You could have sat back and listened to a couple of jokes, but you didn't do that. Right? So you're just a lazy 78-year-old. Maybe you shouldn't even be running for president. Maybe you should be sitting in an old folks' home somewhere. Okay. So they can give you your medicine or changing your diaper, because they say you wear diapers. I mean, that's what's going around, that you wear diapers and you got a little older to you. So you probably need a nurse to wipe your ass and change your diapers. Donald Trump. I don't want a president like that. And I think millions of people in this country are tired of the nastiness, the rhetoric that you display, that your campaign is displaying, the disregard for people of color. You have proved our point with allowing this racist comedian who thinks that it's a joke. I wouldn't have found it funny. If I was even sitting somewhere watching the guy do stand-up. I would have said that's a racist joke. I mean, it's, the watermelon joke. Oh, we sit and carve watermelons. That's not funny. Little stuff like that, that's not funny to me at all. And Puerto Rico being garbage, but you love Puerto Rico, but you say something like that, you're talking about you're a snake, your tongue is split. Okay? And I ain't with it. My friend, who happens to be Puerto Rican, his father lives in Puerto Rico. He's a doctor. He's a super successful man, okay, doctor in Puerto Rico. Lives in a beautiful home by the beach. Now, the things that I saw in Puerto Rico is beautiful. It looked beautiful. The people are beautiful. People are nice, good people, hardworking people. While you're standing there making nasty jokes like that, Donald Trump and his fat, lazy ass, who almost ruined this country to 4 years. As a matter of fact, he allowed 1 million people to pass away because he's lazy and incompetent and should not be in office. Now, if you want to sit here and people who want to say how great it was for you when Donald Trump was in office, and ignore the fact that over 1 million people passed away due to his negligence and his incompetency while he was president, and allow the pandemic to come and wipe people out, family members, friends, people you've known for years. I don't see how you could sit here and vote for a man like that. And I know Joe is not Puerto Rican. I know Joe is not over here. Joe is just probably some Trump supporter running through whatever, trying to say stupid stuff. I'm not with it. That's why I said, don't worry about Joe. Joe be gone. He ain't gonna sit up in here because he don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear the truth about who Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is showing you could. So he's sitting in Allentown, couldn't even apologize to the people. I don't know him. That's how you apologize. The same way with I don't know him. Every time something bad comes, I don't know him. I don't know her. I don't know Stormy Daniels. That's okay, Natasha. You're here, sweetie. You don't know Stormy Daniels, and Stormy Daniels said, "Nah, I slept with him." I mean, you know, we were together. I don't know her. Never met her before in my life. You don't know these people. And I find it very interesting that every time you turn around, you're either in a video with these people or you're taking photos with these people, but you don't know them. I think it's just, people need to take their blinders off. We got 7 more days until the election. Now, I don't know if that was the October surprise. I don't know. Maybe Tony Hitchman set him up to fail. Somebody setting him up to fail, or they're just all lazy in that camp. I mean, you know, who knows? But it doesn't look good, and it's not going to work out for Donald Trump. Just like, you know, my favorite newscaster, Don Lemon, said this morning, it's a wrap. It's over. Donald Trump just lost this election. Because the one thing that I know about Puerto Rican people is they're going to stick together. Maybe not Joe, because you can't save everybody. Now, we all know that because we know that within our culture. You can't save everybody, okay? But what I do know is that 5 million people that live here that have not voted yet, or the people that live here, some have voted and some regret their votes, because I've seen videos of people saying, I voted for him, men specifically, I voted for him, but I don't like what he's saying right now. Like, I made a mistake. Yeah, you made a mistake, right? But there's still the people out there that have not voted as of yet. And like a woman came in here yesterday and said that she voted for Kamala Harris, and all her Puerto Rican family are now voting for Kamala Harris. And that's across the board. They have, I don't know who is in Donald Trump's campaign, you know, putting this out there, but maybe they are trying to sabotage him. I don't know, and don't really give 2 shits about it. Excuse my French. I don't care. And maybe this is the October surprise, but we still have 7 more days left until voting time, November 5th. Okay. And Donald Trump, you better get on your knees, brother, and start begging and saying, you know what? That has nothing to do with me. I apologize. But I know that's hard for you because your ego is too big. And you have just lost the election. It's over for Donald Trump. I think it was already over for him. I saw him speaking. He was standing there like he was so still, looked like he was tired and beat down. Like he knows he lost. He knows that he lost. This is over. It's over. It's a wrap. Natasha says, the people who vote for Trump know that he is a demon, but they don't care. That's mostly MAGA, right? And people believe, you know, I believe Natasha, a lot of these people believe that Donald Trump, you know, the economy was better when he was president, but they don't know that he was, you know, riding off of Obama's presidency, those first 2 years, because after the first 2 years and then the pandemic hit, the inflation, once they try to, you know, contain that situation, the inflation started going up. And the inflation started going up because of the tariffs and stuff that Donald Trump was, whatever tariffs he claimed that he put on China. I don't know. I can't recall, but I could look it up for you guys and quote exactly what happened. But inflation did start going up as Donald Trump was exiting the office. And a lot of that had to do with the pandemic, because a lot of that stuff got stranded and could not be moved because it was sitting on, on ships and stuff and containers, and they couldn't move the things. So that's when it couldn't be moved, you had to deal with China. They were locked down, and then all of that product that was coming, then the stuff starts, inflated, because people have to make their money. Hey, Mel. But I agree with you. A lot of those people don't care. They don't care. And I totally agree with you. A lot of MAGA people, they are just in trance. It's insane to listen to some of these people and how, like I said yesterday, it's Stockholm syndrome with these people. Hey, Trump is not going to apologize because that's how he thinks. Exactly. He's a total narcissist, complete narcissistic. He is not, he's a mentally ill man. He's mentally ill. He has big time issues. My sister works with, so she's a social worker, and she works with mentally ill people, and she'll tell you. And she studied, and she says, yeah, he's mentally ill. Narcissism to that degree is mental illness. And Donald Trump is mentally unstable, period. So as you come in, please, the 12 people that are watching, please hit the like button, okay? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, so you can join in conversations that we have when we go live, okay? But anyway, like I said, I'm gonna drop the link, and I might have somebody want to come up. Maybe a Trump supporter will come up and explain as the reasons to the reasoning why they are voting for Donald Trump. Because the only person that ever comes up over here is our good Trump supporting young friend, Omar. So yeah, I felt like the video that Bad Bunny put out, although it was in Spanish, it was still breathtaking, and it was still, like, I know a little bit of Spanish. I don't speak fluent Spanish, but I know a little bit. But they have contributed a lot to this country, and for them to be, just disrespected that way is, and then you want to turn around and say, I go to Puerto Rico all the time. I love Puerto Rico. I think it's beautiful. You have a split tongue. People walk around when you can't trust them. And, I just thought that was just, what? I go to Puerto Rico all the time, and I go downtown. It's a beautiful place. I enjoy Puerto Rico. But at the same time, you call it the garbage. So you're going to call it garbage in front of a stadium of, I don't know how many people, but close to 20,000 people I hear that Madison Square Garden holds. And I doubt if it was 20. It could have been 20,000. I don't know. I don't think so. Probably more like 15, maybe 10,000 people showed up, because a lot of people don't show up for Donald Trump like that, like they used to. They're bored over it. Nobody wants to hear that. And if you look in the background, people were not laughing at that joke. That joke was tired. No one was laughing at that joke. They weren't laughing at your little watermelon jokes either, But the point is that you allowed someone to get up and say something like that. That's when it becomes, what's going on? These people are laughing at us. Remember, Carrie, they're laughing at me. They're laughing at me. Was that Carrie? When they dumped the blood all over when she went to prom. So, and that's what you're laughing at them. You, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, JD Vance, who came out and said, I didn't even hear the joke. I mean, it was a joke. People need to lighten up. So what happens if someone talks about your Indian wife, right? Talk about how they saw you dressed up in drag, What if somebody has a video of you and Thiel getting it on? Because we all know that's your boyfriend. Hey Mel, how you doing?
Hello.
What's going on? What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening? You know what? They thought they was just out there just having such a good time. Taking over the streets of New York City. The simple fact is that whole campaign, the man, all the people around him, all they do is insult. All they do is say terrible things about groups of people. So the one time allegedly, this is the time when he like, oh, I don't know who he is, but that man's joke was the least offensive thing that Donald Trump and his camp have ever said against women, black people, trans people. Like the list goes on and on. They always say terrible things, nasty things about people. It's just that the power base of the Latino voter was so upset with this joke, and now they're like, oh my gosh, but wait a minute. If you look at your track record, all you do is say terrible things against groups of people.
Right.
But yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Well, I was going to say that's why I think that's why it's like really. I mean, he says terrible things about everybody. So the comedian said something that wasn't that was terrible, but you've said worse, Donald Trump. You said a lot worse, and so do the people around you. So.
Right.
So my point is, if you want to apologize or you want to distance yourself from what that comedian said, then you would have to distance yourself from all the things that you've said over the past year, and even during this election, you said horrible things, and that you should be apologizing for too. Natasha said something I thought was very interesting, just very interesting. And she was saying that people know how evil he is, but they decided they want to vote for him anyway. I was thinking about that. I had a conversation earlier, and I was thinking, I was thinking something about the people whose families have suffered atrocities. Who survived, or who had relatives that were in, genocide in Africa, or horrific things that happened in the Holocaust, or just terrible things. And there are people that have survived or who have family members who survived these atrocities who are voting for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me that troubles me. That troubles me, because then now I'm thinking, okay, you've suffered these atrocities, your family has suffered these atrocities, and you're still healing from these situations, and and I want people to heal from these situations, but yet you will vote for, this man who, given a chance, would try to commit those same atrocities in America and other places. So for me, I'm conflicted, because now I'm thinking, how can I take people like that seriously?
How can you take American people that are voting for Donald Trump serious?
Okay, I'm trying to be very delicate about this. What I'm saying is that I was thinking about this today. Donald Trump's base, the people that are voting for him, are people whose families have survived the Holocaust.
Right.
Families who survived genocide in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
People have talked during this election about the Africans coming over, or people straight from Africa coming here, becoming citizens, and being ultra conservative, not really understanding or connecting with the African American brother.
Mm-hmm.
There's these issues going on there. But yet your family, when these people that's coming from Africa, your family have survived. Somebody has survived these atrocities there, And I'm talking about the people who survived from the Holocaust. So for me, my thing is that, let's just put it this way: if my family survived an atrocity in their history, and I'm going to give different conversations and speaking, and I'm just advocating for it never to happen again, I would never vote for Donald Trump.
Right.
Because then now when I go out there to talk about my experience and my family experience, people won't take me seriously.
I think that
You understand? Because I think that I'm seeing, because for me, if my family has suffered those things, and I'm wanting human rights in this world, and I don't want any racism and any of that kind of stuff, and my family suffered these atrocities, and I'm just naming these ones off the top of my head, whether it be the Holocaust or just any other thing, I could never vote for Donald Trump based on what my family went through.
Right.
Yet I'm seeing ultra conservative people whose families have suffered these atrocities go up on network television and say they want to vote for Donald Trump. So are you devastated by the atrocities your family suffered, or are you not? Because Donald Trump is definitely not a person you can vote for if your family has suffered these things.
What I think with a lot of people, Mel, is they want to what was I watching? I was watching The View, I think, and I think Anna Navarro said something like that. The problem with people that are voting for Donald Trump, like a Joe that just came over here and said, I'm a Puerto Rican for Donald Trump. I don't believe that. But anyway, but the people who have already voted, including people of color, Black, Hispanic people, Puerto Ricans, whomever, Asian people that vote, Indian people that vote for Donald Trump. Um, they don't think it could happen to them. They don't believe that they are who he's talking about. That makes sense. Well, he's not talking about me because I have a job or I have a business or I'm doing this and I'm classy. I don't do this. I'm not living in the hood or I'm not in the ghettos or I'm not this. You know, so they separate themselves because he ain't talking about me, you know. And that's why when Omar was here and I said, because Omar, who, you know, the young man that's about Donald Trump, hey, Mel MC, who is strictly, you know, uplifting the Republican Party or the MAGA Party. I'm not even going to call them Republican Party anymore. They're the MAGA Party because he believes in that because he's reading all this stuff just on Republican or right-wing articles or whatever. He's probably listening to podcasts and whatever. And they're not talking about me. And that's why I said, well, do you look Hispanic? And he shows himself. He looks Hispanic. High cheekbones, curly hair. He looks Hispanic. He's just fair skinned, but he doesn't look white, like a white American, you know, young man. And when Donald Trump says that he's going to go in and, you know, they're going to raid people's homes and, you know, send all these people back to where they came from, whether it be Haiti, Africa, the Congo, you know, or Mexico, or Venezuela, and all this stuff. They're going to gather up 10 million people. I don't know how he's going to do that because guess what? I could be walking down the street and I can get caught up in your gathering of the immigrants because I don't look like him, right? I'm a person of color. What they going to do? Ask me for my birth certificate? Where are you American? Where's your birth certificate? Because, you know, they got to keep some slaves here. You know what I'm saying? So where is your birth? Are you American? Prove it. I need to see.
Not Obama thing. Obamagate, like you tried with Obama before.
Right. The same thing. And I can bring out my birth certificate. Oh, okay. And I'm a descendant of slaves. And oh, okay. Well, guess where you going? Back to slavery. You about to be in the fields like your ancestors.
Well, no, I'm not.
Right. But I'm not doing that. Because I know how to play the look. I know how to play the game. And I'm not going to be a slave. That's not going to happen. I'll be Harriet Tubman up in here freeing my people. And if you want to stay back, that's on you. But it's the mindset of people that he's not talking about me. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm not this and I'm not that. So I want to live, you know, he's not going to see me that way. Donald Trump, first of all, Donald Trump is running to stay out of prison. So the same way he wasn't running his office the last time, and the way he not running the presidency the last time because he was out playing golf the whole time, and the same way he ain't running this campaign, got somebody else running this campaign. That's why that boy got up there and was able to say those racist ass jokes, right? And now you want to get over there and distance yourself, and everybody that you had in office, Mark Kelly, these people who are coming out saying, these generals who are coming out saying he's a fascist, and then you want people to kiss your ass, and then you sit, and these people are sitting here, these military people are sitting here saying that this man literally said out his mouth he wants to have people to give him regard the same way they did Hitler. He wants people to bow down to him the way Hitler's soldiers bow down to him. He wants that type of reverence.
And
That's who
so for
Donald Trump
me, and that's a,
ego is driven by.
yeah, and I think that for me, and so that part right there, that's the part that I've been struggling with. So with his connection and the way he acts, sort of like Hitler, in my opinion, whatever. How could any person? I have friends, Hasidic, Jewish, or just anybody who suffered, who have descendants from that horrific time, go up on Fox News, go up anywhere, and you've come from that, and some of your family, most of a big population of the Hasidic Jewish community have perished because of that mania of Hitler. But now we have another one popping up, so I'm confused. I'm like, wait a minute, and what is it? Anti-Semitic, that kind of thing. Jewish. Anyway, I ain't gonna. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, I could give you, let me say
I'm
this.
just confused. That's all.
Right, and I would be confused too. We're confused the same way you have Black people who are voting for Donald Trump and say he's not racist. Tell me the things that he said that are racist, and you can name out a plethora of things that he said and what he's done. Taking out an article in the New York newspaper, in the newspaper in New York, saying to
For the Central Park,
not renting apartments to Black people. You can go on and on and on, saying that the guy on The Apprentice, he or firing someone Black or something like that because there's no way this person is educated. So even the guy that was on The Apprentice, I don't know if you remember the first episode, the first one, The Apprentice, when you had the young Black man and you had the white guy, and he didn't pick that Black dude. That Black guy had actually won The Apprentice, but he didn't want him to win. He didn't want him to win. So, and the guy said it. So we can dig all that up. That's all out there. That guy came out and said, I cannot remember his name. But anyway, Donald Trump does not believe. He's so angry and such a bitter person to the point where, and I'm going to get back to what you were saying about Jewish people. Okay.
Well, you know what? Well, that's what I was going to say. You know what? You're making a good point, because I think that, again, when you get up here on YouTube, I feel like I'm just talking to you behind the scene. We are public. So what I want to say very clearly is, I would go to people who survived SA. I've seen people of all types who are up there in these rallies. Now that man, he has a history of devastating people. So to see women or any kind of people who have suffered it and be up on different channels or panels or television saying, I suffered an SA, but I'm proudly voting for Donald Trump. Really? How? But that makes no sense. Like, oh, okay, Jesus.
Let me say it like this. Because Donald Trump has pushed so much rhetoric out there and pushed so much hate that people are allowing their hatred for other people to come out. And it could have been in them, there's a lot of racist people out here. They just hide it. So you have people out here that just smile in your face. And then really, I don't want you destroying my country. What about us? I'm tired of having to, feel empathy for Black American people. Mm-hmm. We understand that, slavery existed, but I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. When are you going to give a rest? You don't deserve to have reparations. So what? My family was poor too. How dare you talk about white privilege? White privilege is not a thing. I grew up poor. Where's the privilege in that? And see, they don't understand that it's deeper than that. You understand what I'm saying? So those are the people who are voting for Donald Trump, right? But they will tell you, but I'm not racist. I like you. I grew up with you. We were at school together. You were my best friend. You used to spend a night at my home when we were kids. We had slumber parties. I invited you to my dinner parties. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm tired of hearing about race. And now all of a sudden, what you're seeing is white people, not all,
Not all, yeah.
But you see white people on Twitter, on not on Twitter, but probably on Twitter too, but on TikTok, that's racist. All this, hatred towards white people and blah, 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 blah. There is no hatred towards white people. We're just trying to enlighten you all, wake you up, from your sleeping, wake up and understand what people have gone through in this country. Now, everybody that has come here, whether it be Indians from India, Asians that come over here and build businesses, I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. But the issues that I have when people come here from other countries and look down on Black people, Africans too, that come here, you are riding off the backs of enslaved people. You are riding off the backs of Martin Luther King and people who walked across that bridge, who died for people in this country to get their civil rights. Okay? You are coming in here already with your civil rights handed to you. You are thriving off the backs of people in this who are descendants of slaves in this country that fought for civil rights.
And right there, yeah, civil rights. You see that, and can we circle that in red? Because my grandmother used to tell me, or tells me, you know what, Mel, they see you before they hear you. The simple fact is, the people that come to this country don't understand that. It doesn't matter what kind of family you come from. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have. It doesn't matter what kind of education you have. That a person who is ignorant will see you before they even hear the words that come out your mouth. They won't hear your accent. They won't hear your privilege. They won't hear your education. It goes across the board. It doesn't matter if you come from the Caribbean or from India or wherever else. You think you can get up on Fox News and go, well, I went to Yale and I went here and I went there. But in the real world, people who are ignorant will see you based on what you look like and not even hear the word to come out before something could happen tragically to you. You don't want to, like you said, thank God for the work of the civil rights leaders, that a Black man or a person of color, because in this country we have people of all different nationalities. But if you have a hue to you that is brown and chocolate and stuff like that, and you have not said a word, if the people didn't do civil rights correctly in this country, you can go to the store for iced tea and not come home. But just because you looked a certain way and now you're taken out, it doesn't matter if you're Indian, whatever. That's why I always love the idea that a person who is ignorant won't hear you first. They only see you. They will judge you before you open your mouth. Right. So it doesn't matter about your accent, if you're speaking French, Puerto Rican, Indian, whatever it is. If you have a hue to you, with some people, you won't get a chance to speak to them. You just, it could be a very tragic event if the civil rights and human rights is not like it's supposed to be. And yeah, some people don't get that. And like I was saying, just in general, any person who suffered unfairness, it does, but you explained it to me. I understand it, but it does kind of boggle my mind that if you suffered, say, if your family has been taken out in horrific stuff or whatever it is, I'm talking about all the groups in the world that happens to be in America. And I've said this too somewhere else, if you suffered something and this man stands for what you suffered, then that's where, and it doesn't matter if you come from a religious group, doesn't matter if you're a person who suffered a problem, doesn't matter if you're a Black man that has had difficulties going to prison. People come out of prison or whatever for being there wrongly convicted, saying, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Are you really, like, you went to prison, under Bush or whoever it was, whatever it was, you went there, you lost your time. You've come out, you have a choice between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. You're going to vote for Donald Trump. So so that's what you understand. So across the board, it's just like people are not, my opinion, people are not voting in their best interest. Is what I feel.
But do they ever?
I do.
Poor white people don't ever vote in. I do, but poor white people never vote for their best interest because they blame a lot of poor white people in these rural ass towns in Mississippi, living in a shack, and outdoor plumbing.
Uh-uh.
Those people are voting for Donald Trump because they have so much hate within them, hate that they blame everybody else for their circumstances, right? So that's why they vote for Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump said what he said. They're coming, they're taking your jobs. They're because he knows it's all a game to him. He's living in The Apprentice. He thinks it's a show. Oh, they're coming to take your job. They're coming in and they're maiming your people and attacking your women and doing this and stealing from you, robbing, stealing. That's conquer and divide, and that's exactly what his campaign has done. But see, people are waking up to that, right? Don't believe mainstream media. It's all lies. People don't even listen to mainstream media anymore. A lot of these young people are not listening to that. I mean, and then when I'm listening to Don Lemon, and he's telling, because they're researching that now, he doesn't have to do mainstream media anymore. He's on his own show, right? On his own time, doing his own thing, right? And so now he's saying, all these people are listening to podcasts. That's what they listen to. They don't believe in mainstream media because mainstream media is mostly Democrat, right wing, left wing media, and so they don't listen to that. And it's not telling you the truth, it's lying. So they have been brainwashed over the years, which you got to kind of take your hat out to Donald Trump because he's been spinning the same rhetoric for years.
Yeah, he has. So
these people have Stockholm syndrome. When they're riding around, walking around with a flag all wrapped around it, you are disrespecting the American flag, but then yet you are a patriot. But you're not even supposed to wear the flag on your body like that. That's disrespectful to the country. You don't even know what you're doing, but you're so patriotic. I got to wear the flag on my body.
That's not another thing is too. They are so law-abiding, but yet they're voting for a criminal. They are so moral, but yet they're voting for somebody who has no morals or no soul. So, it is.
Right, but it's the disrespect. It is the deflection. It is the whataboutism. It is the hypocrites, right? Hypocrisy. And it's the hypocrisy of it all, to be honest with you. Just like what's that man's name? Dr. Phil stood up there in Madison Square Garden and talked about DEI of a Black woman having, he talking about her because he's saying that basically she got her position because of diversity, equity, inclusion. Right? But how did you get your job?
From a Black woman.
From a Black woman. So are you DEI? You understand what I'm saying? Because don't nobody know who you were, Dr. Phil. No one knew who the hell you were. But see, you got a background full of bullshit too. And that's why you can relate to Donald Trump. Oh, a girl on Twitter, I started following her. She broke him down, honey. It's a whole list of stuff. And she said, I'll be back. Because I have to go to dinner, but I will be back and I'm going to give you the rest. I mean, it's a list of stuff that he did. So is he really a doctor or are we just calling him Dr. Phil? I want to see his degree. I want to see his doctrine. Where is it? You understand what I'm saying? So she's so big talking about DEI. How dare you?
Now, you know what? I listen, I'm not a Monique, I don't think everything Monique said is true. But I will say, if you dig a little deeper, because I follow that too, Miss Monique, my girl, Iyanla Vanzant, who I had the pleasure to meet and to work with on occasion through her stuff, they all have said some things about the fact that, God bless Oprah right now, what she's doing. But when she had the chance to pick, when she had the chance to pick Iyanla and to treat Monique like she's supposed to. Now, Monique has her issues. But she didn't really treat the Black woman like they're supposed to. She treated Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. And these people turned their back on her as soon as they get a chance to go to this person. So, I have to give a little of that to Oprah too. Now, she's doing what she's supposed to do now. But yeah, she definitely built them up. And they were problems from the beginning with these two guys. And, You
Right.
know, there was a big conversation her and Yana had on her show years ago before the show went off. And that was the issue. The issue was that Ayanna was feeling that she wasn't getting the same treatment as the guys were. So she had to go with a different deal. And that was the whole thing. But anyway, so that's
Okay.
another subject. Any subject. But
But
yeah.
if Iyanla Van Zant is the GOAT, baby. She will break you down all the way down and keep it
Mhm.
all the way 100. I
Yeah.
love me some Iyanla. Like, I hated that she got off her show because I would watch her show all the time. I follow her on IG, and I've been watching her a very long time, even when she was on Oprah Winfrey. That woman is so insightful. She gives you so much knowledge. You know, I love her,
You
and
have you
I
go
love
ahead.
Oprah too. But
Yeah. She had her issues, Miss Oprah.
she has her issues. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of it has to do with trying to appease the masses of
Yeah.
that's watching her. And so
Yeah.
she brings these doctors on. And I mean, Dr. Oz is a good doctor. I mean, he's a well-known surgeon. But that Dr. Phil, and I used to watch Dr. Phil. Now I used to watch Dr. Phil until he had that little bad baby girl come up on there. And I started looking at him like, you know,
Well, I looked at him sideways when he did to Shelley Long. Now, Shelley Long, no, not Shelley,
yes,
Shelley
yes,
Duvall,
yes,
Shelley
yes,
Duvall, Miss
yes. I
Duvall,
looked at him sideways too.
Miss
I did
Duvall.
too.
Because, at one point they were saying that he's very exploitive. And, he wasn't really helping the people like a doctor would. He was, okay, Dr. Oz and Phil let Oprah
Okay.
know she was the only Black friend. Mhm. Yeah, but yeah, I like Iyanla. And you know what? I was reading, I'm working through her book list. She had a book list. This is one I want to work with now. I actually put on my phone called Talking with the Master by Eva Bell Weber. It's like this prayer book. Because remember I sent you a prayer recently?
Uh-huh.
I have many different prayer books, but some of the prayer suggestions I got was from Iyanla. I love her prayer book suggestions, so I buy them on Amazon. Yeah, I love her books. I got this big one here too. A Course in Miracles, a lot of stuff. A lot of the books I read or that I read is from her suggestions.
Yeah, Iyanla is the GOAT.
And
Period.
she had a show years ago
Yeah.
when she does the different conferences. She even came to Brooklyn to the King Theater, and she just was wonderful to sort of deal with her one on one. She's a wonderful lady.
So, so I was surprised to see Dr. Phil up there as well, because watching when he was running, Donald Trump was running, he basically said that Donald Trump was a narcissist. He said he's a narcissist. And so it's just, and now they're saying that this is whole bro thing that he's trying to connect with younger men and men across America. This is why he's doing all these podcasts, because it's this red pill, blue pill mess that he's trying to get these men to get out of here and vote. That's why he talked about, what I talked about yesterday. W1 said, yeah, that was a little deep. You know what I'm saying? But that's why they talk about it, because they talk about that kind of stuff. They sit around and talk about penis sizes. They sit around and talk about women need to stay in their place. They talk about, treating women a certain kind of way. It's a bunch of whiny ass little boys, old men that feel left out. Left out of what? What are you left out of? I'm like, and I'm sitting here watching Don Lemon, and Don Lemon is going in, and then I understand, like, what are they you down talking about? This is why he keeps bringing up the whole transgender thing. She's giving transgender medical help to get change, and they're going into your schools. Your child will go into school as a girl and a boy and come back out as a girl. What the hell? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And what's so disgusting is that they are literally brushing it on the table like, oh, well, that's just Donald Trump.
You see, Miss Honey, as a person from the LGBT community, my thing is I'd rather somebody. I don't know about surgery and all that at the beginning, because I can have a conversation about anything at this point. I don't know about surgery and stuff at a certain point. I want a child, him or her or them, to live their truth, to wear the clothes that they choose to wear, and then over time, with love from their family and community, they'll be on that journey. But that being said, I'd rather a child live their truth than a child come into a school thinking that the solution to their problem being bullied is to unalive themselves and other people. in this country, we having all these situations at these schools where people getting their hands on things and they're supposed to get their hands on. There should be title laws, but they're not talking about that there. As far as these mass unalives in these schools. So that's just kind of so crazy to me that you will focus on a child or a young person trying to discover who they are and wear different kind of clothing. We're not talking about surgery. We're talking about going on a journey. You will focus on that as a major threat facing America, when we also have on the other side children feeling whatever they feel and going into different public places, taking lives. That should be the major thing.
That should be the major thing.
That's what's going on. So you can't lose your mind of a baby wearing the clothes. They want to wear different kind of clothes or whatever. We're not talking about surgery, because I've watched a documentary where somebody say, you know what, I love my children, but we have in our home, you feel this way. Well, you know what, when you become 18 years old, but in the meantime, we're going to love you deep, deep, deep down and hard. We're going to love you very intensely. You can wear whatever clothes you want to wear, but we're going to hold off on the idea of surgery. We're going to love. And if people try to do something to you or talk to you in a certain way, we're going to deal with that step at a time, whatever it may be, So that's how it is. So that's not, so that don't sound too threatening, but you got somebody else sitting in their room listening to all these different podcasts. And I have something about the podcast too. I think the difference between a reporter who's going to college to learn how to vet the information, to research information. You see, the thing is, reporters are good in time of emergency. We got to remember that. I remember when I was growing up, reporters in the news are there to hold people accountable in the government and also to inform the public correctly in times of emergency. You can't get that from a podcast.
Right.
A podcast is just people up there giving you fake news, talking about fish oil and this kind of oil and to solve that. A reporter will talk to the doctors, will read the research, will do the stuff so that way whatever's reported on Channel 2 will also be reported on Channel 7. Everybody has a standard there when it comes to reporting correctly. On the podcast, people can do whatever they want. So that's why we need reporters. Now, having a podcast is entertaining, but I think that, as I said in your chat the other day, if you're going to ask questions, I hope you're a man enough or woman enough to answer some too. A lot of times in the MAGA side, they have a lot of questions, but they have no damn answers. Right. So when it comes to the Joe Rogans and people like that, I think that at one point, I'm not sure if this is real or not, but I think Kamala Harris was like, okay, I'm ready for my turn too. And I think Joe Rogan turned her down.
No, she was supposed to come on there. Well, he said he don't know. He thinks that she's still going to come on there because he wants her to come on there.
Okay, so I thought I heard that he turned her down. So.
And Donald Trump said she will never come on their show, and he said no. I think she's welcome here.
Okay, good.
So, yeah. So okay. I don't know if she's going to do it. If I were her, I would go sit down with him and I would give him the business. I would talk to him like what it is. What is it? What? I ain't black enough. Let me tell you how black I am. You see what I'm saying? Right. That's how she sat down with what's his name. And when people say she stalled for that moment, that was a black woman stall, honey. When he said something to her and she looked at him like, don't try it. So now I got to flip on your ass. See, mm-hmm. And that's when it was. And that I was like, oh, she gave him the black woman look. Like, what?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, see, and she got more courage, and she's more a politician, and she's more doing her job than Donald Trump is. Now he's not going into hard interviews.
No, absolutely not.
There we go. Right. So that's what the thing is for me with these people. Like, oh well, she's not being. Well, no, she's being interviewed by everybody. That she's going to these places that are not pro her. But she's, what? And the thing is, I think after the Fox News thing, did that man apologize and sort of turn around a little bit for her because of the views he got from her interview. So the thing is, Donald Trump is not going to hard places. He's not getting asked hard questions. She is being more, he's not going there. He's a whim.
But she should go to what she did. She did what's his name's podcast?
Fox News.
She did Fox News, but she was on what's his name's YouTube channel. The football player.
Oh yeah, Michael Shannon Sharp.
So she did Shannon Sharp's. She did but I think that she should go over to someone like Joe Rogan, who has he has a huge following, millions of followers too, mm-hmm. and sit down with someone like Joe Rogan and let Joe Rogan say the dumb stuff that he says. She doesn't have to do it, But I'm saying maybe she should, just to make Donald Trump look even more like a fool, because he sat up there and said that she would never do it. And if she came over here and she did it, she'd be on the ground, laying up, curled up, balled up, crying, whining.
Really?
Like she's so because she's weak and she's stupid. No, you're weak and you're stupid. You wouldn't even debate that woman. She debated you one time. She called you, made you look like a fool. You couldn't, it's the cats and the dogs. And she laughed in your face and she gave you the business and you couldn't handle it, right? So they're nitpicking at this woman. First of all, she's a strong woman of color, okay? That has already went through, when she lived in Canada, okay, from the time she was 12 to 17 years old. So people saying she was raised in Canada. No, she was raised in America, born in California, raised in America, went to Canada when she was 12. Okay? From 12 to 17, she was ridiculed. She had racism and racist remarks thrown at her. It's out there you read it. It's out there. So she was called out of her name, racial. So she knows what it's like. So you don't want to even sit up here and say, oh, she ain't black enough. Well, she black enough and she is of color enough to understand what it's like for people to throw racist rhetoric at you when you are a young child. So don't come over, and I'm sick of people sitting up there. What we need to do as a people of color, whether it is Puerto Ricans, Black Americans, Africans, Black Hispanics,
West Indian,
West Indians,
West Indian,
right? Asians. We need to come together as people.
Yeah.
Okay. And I ain't leaving out white folks, but I'm saying, y'all want to join the fight, you're more than welcome to join the fight, male MC, because I know you down. But what I'm saying is, we need to come together as a people and stop all that madness, so we can just get on, and move up. Right? Because we got to get up to that hill again so we can fall over, and everything else we can roll on down on the opposite side of the hill that we've been climbing for 300 freaking years to get to the other side of the mountain. You understand what I'm saying? So that way, now we can all flourish together. This country will be great if we could all flourish together. If we have all these equal rights, whether you're LGBTQ, I can't even say the word plus. I know it's more letters to it.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? We need to just be able to come together
because
as Americans.
Because you know what's so funny? You're right, and it's because you know why? There's so much work to be done. The simple fact is, the world is a big place, and there's a lot of moving pieces going on in Russia. And China's getting bigger than ever. And so is all these different places. We have a lot of concerns going on. The last thing we need to do is be fighting each other in America.
Right.
I mean, I personally don't want to fight anybody. I believe that, I want peace in the world. But you know what? We have to come together because we have major things going on in this world. So it seems lunacy to me that I think under Kamala Harris, not only will we unify, but we'll be able to have the negotiations that we so desperately need about global warming. Because wasn't he the one that took us out of the Paris Accord? It was a Paris Agreement of the global, and now, Miss Sunny, the scientists are saying that the hurricanes, tornadoes we had recently in the different states, that those were they were so shocking this year because of global warming, that now we have reached in America category 5. They're now recalibrating to say now we're going to be talking about category 6 and 7. And they weren't anticipating that so fast. We are literally burning more fuel and doing all that stuff that Donald Trump put us on, on the path to when he was in there. It's not a coincidence that he did what he did with those, with taking us out of the global warming, situations. And now we have these major tornadoes. People don't make the connection. If you're a person in Florida and you right now you're desperately seeking help and you have no home, I'm sorry, in my opinion, I know it sounds crazy, you need to blame Donald Trump, because the simple fact is global warming is responsible fully for the destruction of these different states when it comes to these hurricanes. It's not supposed to be that strong. That's all I'm saying. God is a wonderful thing, and sometimes nature does what it do, but the destruction that's happening right now is man-made. I'm sorry. That's just I've done a little research. It's man-made. It's man-made through global warming. And if you don't have a leader in charge, I mean, no city will be safe, Miss Honey, at one point. It won't matter if you in New York or if you're down there wherever. It's going to be so chaotic that nowhere will be safe.
But you know what? And that's so true. And when they talk about global warming, it doesn't exist. That's some scientist stuff. Let me say something. You know, I don't know. I was just about to mention Ron DeSantis, Mel, but Ron DeSantis, the other idiot,
Oh,
the other idiot,
yeah.
you know, who is ruining Florida.
Oh Lord, yes.
They need to vote him out. He's not capable of running this. You know, he has the biggest chip on his little shoulder of the little man syndrome. It's just, you know, it's like Napoleon in living in Florida or something. It is ridiculous. You don't want to believe in global warming. You know, you want to believe that God is going to, this is all, they're so white nationalists, right? They just believe that this is God's will and this is God's way. God is tapping you on the shoulder saying, Ron, dude, bro, wake up, man. I need you to wake up, snap out of it. It's global warming. You're ruining the world. You're ruining Earth. So wake up, put something into place, because guess what? The next hurricane, it's going to wipe your ass out. I've been trying to tap on your shoulder. You're not listening to me, bro. You're not listening. What do I need you to do? Get you some heels? What do you want to do? Run around and dance like Prince all day? What is it, Ron? What do I need to do to you to wake you up?
Now, I'm not a person
no woke culture. We don't want woke. We don't burn books. Who burning books in 2024? Ron DeSantis.
Right. Now you know what I think about that. First off, they so stupid. Well, like you said, we ain't gonna be. This is not the telephone conversation we have. So I'm going to keep it politically correct. They so crazy because, you know, as soon as Obama became president, they woke up. The first time woke happened in this country was when President Obama was in office. They woke up the next morning and was out of their everlasting mind. Ever since then, they wanted birth certificates and all type of stuff. They woke up. That was what happened. So, you know, that's what's going on there. But wait a minute.
That was Marcella.
Oh, wait.
She said, hey, I'm so happy that you keep us woke.
Oh, that's right. Come on. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
But you're right. It woke them up because
it did.
It scared the hell out of them.
It sure enough did.
It was like, skirt. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. What is going on?
For some people, not all, like we say, for some people, the most threatening thing they ever can face is a black woman or man in charge. That just seemed to be the thing that makes people lose sleep for some reason. I don't know why. My mother was in charge and I've turned out very well. So I don't.
Let me tell you something. Like I told my husband, and I think I told you this behind the scenes when we talked on the phone. You're going to see something completely different with Kamala Harris. And because she is mothering, she's going to be mothering us and making sure that we get what we need, because that's what Black women do. Black women, you know, and Indian women love family, right? Especially when you think about your grandmother and how your grandmother was always taking care. I was raised by my grandparents. I mean, I'm a little bit older, but growing up in the 80s, most children that were my age growing up had a grandmother that, especially if you came from large families, right? Your grandmother took care of you. So I don't know how it is now, because we're living in a different age when it comes to social media and all that kind of stuff. But my grandmother, you know, she raised her 6 kids. My grandfather's mother, Mama Niece, she you know, she helped raise. We were a unit, and whenever you needed to go home, you could always come home. My grandma, you could always come back here, right? You could always come home if need be, if you don't have anywhere to go, or you are falling on hard times. You understand what I'm saying? And most Southern families that I know of, you know, where I grew up in a small town, was the fact that mostly everybody was like that. it was always the grandmother taking care, was in the home. It's taking care of their families. You know what I'm saying? So I see Kamala Harris, whose mother loved her and loved her daughters and taught her daughters the values of life. Okay. On the father side, I've seen where they're on the dad's side of her father, the family members were like, there's pictures of all of them coming together. She's in these pictures with Jamaican Black people, her cousins, and they say that she was very, always sticking up for people. So when I hear that, I think about how she was raised and how her mother always told her, stand tall, hold your chest out, and we're going to come together. We're going to take care of each other. I'm not saying that, that doesn't happen in other families, but I'm telling you what's happening when I was raised. We came together. So like, if right now, I may not talk to my cousins every day, but if something go down, we coming to Atlanta. What you need? It's like that. No matter what, it's like that. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a unit. It's a village, and I think that's how Kamala Harris is going to be as a president.
I agree.
She doesn't know anything else. That's who she is. That's what she knows. She has that spirit. She has the spirit of helping people. That's her nature, is to help people. And that's what she wants to do. Even her sister says she's always been like that. The story of her saying, you know what? Her friend who was being abused. Remember the story? And she went to her mother and asked her mother, can she stay with us so she doesn't have to get abused anymore? And the mother said yes. So the girl stayed with her. Am I getting the story mixed up? Or, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I say that right there tells me everything I need to know about who she is as a person, because it started off as a young girl. She wanted to take care of her friend. She wanted to protect her friend. And I see Kamala Harris protecting America and the people in it, whether you Black, white, Asian, whatever, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, whatever. She's going to take care of the American people because it is her nature to be like that. So she will be mothering everybody. And what do you need, honey? And baby, what do you need? That's why I say, because that's why I said these Black men out here, y'all playing. Y'all are sitting up here playing. She's giving you a plan in terms of what she want to do for you. She just came up with a plan for Puerto Rico and helping Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, have better infrastructure so they don't have to deal with what's happening over in Puerto Rico. She wants to build up Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So don't play with it, Donald Trump and all you MAGA weirdos out here. You're just angry. You sit up here. Let me say something real quick about white privilege. When I think of white privilege, I think about the opportunities that white people have always had since they have came over here and conquered this country. Okay? Your privilege, your white skin is white privilege. So if you don't take advantage of that, that's on you. You can't blame everybody else. You can't blame affirmative action, which you done took away. You can't blame DEI. Not all of y'all, but you know who I'm talking about. The ones that are sitting over there under Donald Trump, blaming everybody else because they live like in a shithole. Your white skin is your privilege, period. And everybody knows it. It's your skin that allows you to get ahead in life. Your skin alone. Nobody follows you in the store. Nobody looks at you strange. A white man could walk up to a young girl, and the first thing the girl's going, she will gladly say, "Oh, hi, sir. How you're doing? How are you today?" And he could snatch her ass and go running. But she gonna run from if she see a Black man or a Hispanic man or somebody that don't look like her. No, don't talk to me. Stranger danger.
You remember that picture? You remember that picture? Oh, Pacific Heights. It was a picture with Melanie Griffith
Yes.
and Michael
Yup.
Keaton. And
Yup.
you remember that man from Alias? He also was, I think, in Wait and Exhale. He was a good actor, and he just was a distinguished man. He was a black man, and he was into the banking. He went to Melanie Griffith and them, and the husband didn't want it. He's like, well, he got the resume, but he want to move in too fast, and I don't know. But they thinking about it. Now here come Michael Keaton, no money, no resume, no nothing. He got a fancy car. They put him in the house, and he ruins it. He tried to take them out. It was a good picture. It was a good picture, but it was just like, and then the man showed him and said, "Oh, but you didn't take me. Now you going bankrupt and everything." But I was gonna say too, yeah, you're spot on. I think it's true. I think that some people, like I said to you a couple of weeks ago, I think life is like a racetrack, and on on one racetrack it is perfectly nice, no bumps, no lumps, and beautiful. And on that racetrack you can run on that track with a little teeny bag. And on the other racetrack, the ones that a lot of people are on who were enslaved, it's bumpy and lumpy and no gravel there. You got no shoes on and you got a backpack maybe of 60 pounds on your back. And you both got to get to the same destination. And one people just running with nothing, and we have been. And I mean, that's just that's the unfairness of it. And if we don't get to the finish line, we say we're lazy. We say that we're problems. We say that. Now the thing is, we didn't put the weight on our back, and we damn sure didn't mess up the road. But we got to go on that road and go running down there to get to the finish line and do it with a smile on our face. Because if we don't, then we're dangerous, and then we might we get in trouble if we walk outside. So that's the way I see it, and I think that there's been experiments on YouTube, which I think is pretty cool, where people well-intentioned will get into a different skin tone. I want to be controversial, get into a different skin tone, and they say, I want to know. It's controversial now. I want to know what it's like to be this person. I want to know what it's like to be a woman or whatever. So when they put the skin tone of a person who's African American on, and they go out there, they can barely make it for 30 minutes because they have been microaggressed, they have been stared at, they have been treated badly. They are in shambles under all that stuff. And here we are going through the world, the same thing as that analogy with the thing. Some people can't do it. And also, Miss Sunny, when you have like the Bernie Madoffs or the people, the big people who are treating other people terribly, okay, when they are exposed to be criminals, okay, and now they have to live how they force other people to live. What they try to do, they try to unalive themselves. Why would you take yourself out for living the way that you force other people to live at? That's just the way. That's just so crazy to me. So when you know somebody's experience, you know what they go through, it is so overwhelming to you that you want to unalive yourself. I mean, it's all over. Come on, you getting it right there. That's just what it is. I mean, how many times have a person? You look at even the guy who was doing all that stuff to the children in Florida. What's his name? Epstein. When he was finally trapped and had to face what he did, allegedly, what he was taken out or whatever. It happens all the time. You at the high level, and you can treat people terrible. Now, when you've been exposed, and now you have to take your medicine, you can't deal with it. You're not on Park Avenue anymore. Now you're in the prison system. Or you had to live in a terrible house, you got the money gone. Now I can't do it no more. But yet there have been people of African American descent in other cultures who've done it for over 500 years. And if we happen to have a bad day, then if we do it publicly, we might get arrested just because we're emotional.
Because Black people are not supposed to feel pain. They don't feel pain. This is why women when pregnant black women who are having babies, they allow them to go through the pain because they think that Black people have this high tolerance for pain. So Black women pass away more than any other race of woman when giving birth.
Absolutely. It's scary, very scary.
And so now you want to take away, and now you want to, this whole Roe versus Wade thing. These women are passing away in the hospitals, letting them bleed out. I mean, this is real stuff.
And you know what? That goes to the point I made earlier. Because I was trying to make the point earlier, but it's just that So that's the point right there. So we have very conservative sisters, okay, and it boggles my mind again, sister. Your cousin, maybe your mom, maybe your aunt had a terrible time giving birth, and through the grace of God, they survived. You mean to tell me that you still want to vote for a man who does not care about a black woman's health, a black woman's medical care, or how she give birth? Now, they will force you to give birth, even if it's going to risk the life of the baby or risk your life too. And mind you, when you come out of that situation with medical conditions, there will be no help there. And if you can't figure it out yourself, you will be labeled a criminal.
Right.
At least in California, because out there, when people have medical debt and they can't do it, and you're a criminal. You've now been labeled a criminal.
I think it's in Texas too.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
in Texas as well.
Wow.
Women are dying. They say women are passing away due to the Roe versus the laws. I'm trying not to say though.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
So, yeah, and this is.
Well, you know what the good news is, as your title said. Listen, I mean, the race is very, very tight, and the Latino vote is very important, and we shall see if this was the nail in the coffin.
Mm-hmm. That was the nail in the coffin.
Okay.
That's the nail in the coffin right there. That's why I said I don't know if I'm not sure if that's the October surprise. And that's why I was sitting there thinking today, I was like, when I was waiting in the child line to go pick up my bonus baby, I said, and I'm listening to Don Lemon, I'm thinking to myself, was this the October surprise? Because he had to be set up. So it's somebody in your camp that don't think that you should be president, and they are sabotaging you, because that's sabotage in my mind. Or you just don't give a damn, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I can say whatever.
That's
can say
right.
whatever. I can do whatever. These people still going to love me. These people already voted, because people have already voted. Millions of people have already early voted, right? So these people have already voted. I don't care what these people think. I'm going to win. He knows that he's losing. So when I watch the man stand there, because they probably came to that, because they're distancing himself from that comedian. So he was standing doing a speech somewhere, and I guess it was in Allentown. His voice was very low and melancholy, and he looked defeated. And I said, you lost, and you know you are losing. It's a wrap for you. Her numbers have gone up. And I said, it's over. So when I picked up my bonus baby and she got in the car, I said, you about to see the very first female president that ever since this country has been America.
Through the grace of God, I'm hoping and praying.
It's going to happen. There ain't no way in the world that you have the Latino vote. Watch the numbers go up. Even Don Lemon was like, the numbers are going to go up. This is it. That's a wrap. And so if you see, and I'm thinking it might still be an October surprise. Now, I don't know. They might wait till, because we have 7 days left.
I know. I'm just like, come on, let's just get it over. What I was going to say too, as a prediction also, do we think, and I was just saying to a person that I was talking to, do we think that we will know on a Tuesday, or are we going to have to wait till that Wednesday to find out? I think it's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be the day after the election.
I think it's going to be on the day of. I think she's going to defeat him by a landslide. I really do. You got black people coming. I saw a video last night on TikTok. A black dude. I don't even know what the hell he was saying, but you know how they are when they talking, they mumbling, talking, and then he said, I'm voting for Kamala Harris, and that's all I heard. And I was like, what is he saying? But he was just mumbling. You a fool if you think I'm voting for Donald Trump. Then you got $1,000 check. You got $1,000. You know what's that $1,000 gonna do for you when you gotta pay rent and your rent is $2,000. Then you got to pay your $1,000. Then what? Then what, my nigga? Then what? And I was just like, but people understand what he's saying.
Yeah, they do.
Right? So he ain't talking to me. He talking to the people that understand him. And he said, I ain't voting. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. And I said, I know that's right. So there you go. Okay. So now the young men, the young black people that's over there because you're confused and you're over here taking up for Palestine, right? Look, I got friends from all over the world. Um, and I've had this discussion with one of my Palestinian friends about what's happening and the disregard that some Palestinian people feel the need to try to tell black people not to vote. Now I have a problem with that. Okay. Don't come over here trying to tell me how to vote. Right. Um, I understand what's happening in Palestine. It's been going on for 50 years. So I'm still trying to figure out why y'all decide y'all want to protest in 2024. That mess been going, that stuff was going on with Donald Trump when Donald Trump was in office.
Mm-hmm.
Palestine has been under occupation of Israel for 50 years. And now you want to protest? What's up? Who paying y'all? And who paying Amanda Seals? And I think the guy's name is Bakari Sellers or something. I don't know correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know his name, but he has a YouTube channel and he goes in on Kamala Harris and Palestine and don't vote for her, vote for Jill Stein. Now they say that Jill Stein is a Russian she works for Russia. Right. So now you're gonna tell me don't vote for the black woman, but vote for the white woman that's working for the Russians. Y'all out your mind.
Now, wasn't she around Jill Stein? Wasn't she around
They say she come out every 4 years.
Right. like the boogeyman? No,
they say she come out every 4 years. She don't never hear during when the election is not happening. She comes out every time there's an election, she got to come out and show her face. And so, child, I'm like, y'all need to stop. Learn how to choose your battles, black people.
Right.
Amanda Seals, y'all over here. We need to fight for Palestine too. We shouldn't be fighting. We shouldn't be.
My answer to that is
I fight for Palestine. I have a problem fighting for Palestine. I have a problem with you trying to tell me not to vote for this black woman. That's my problem.
Well, my answer to that, because I try to keep it simple all the time. My answer to that, Miss Sunny, what they said we got to fight for this and fight. I'm going to fight for it the day after the election. How about that? I want to make sure that everything goes like it's supposed to, and that we can resume those conversations in December. I'm not focused. I'm focused on this national terrorist right now.
That's here running for office. That shouldn't be running, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Natasha brought this up. This is a good thing. And let me say something about this. She said, I was afraid the October surprise was going to be something with Israel. Netanyahu has a back deal with Trump, and he sure does. And Trump is sitting there having conversations with Netanyahu, which should be some type of breach or something, because he's an American citizen. He is not the president of the United States. He is an American citizen, and he should not be talking to people, dignitaries or presidents of talking about this country. So what did he copy when he had the papers that he took out of the White House, when he had documents, right? What did he do with those documents? Did he give them to Netanyahu? Did he give them to Russia? Did he give it to Putin? Did he give it to the China? What did he do with those documents that he carried out of the White House into Mar-a-Lago that were, classified documents? You understand what I'm saying? So this man gets to get away with all this stuff. Meanwhile, he goes to jail for 30 minutes. He tried to overthrow the government with his people, tried to steal Georgia from black people. I need 11,738 votes, whatever the hell he was saying. You done sit up here being the woman that he assaulted. You had that case that was against you. Got 34 felonies, and you get to walk in, take a picture in jail. Here go your white privilege, and you get to walk right on out and run for office. And you have people supporting. I'm voting for the jail. I'm voting for the criminal. Meanwhile, P. Diddy is locked up.
Right. So, So in America, it's two roads. You have two men doing the same thing, and one gets, right. So what PD is getting, and one gets, try to get handed the presidency on a silver platter. I was going to say also, wasn't it at one point the Supreme Court could have stopped this during the summertime? Wasn't it true They had the opportunity to stop some of this, and they agreed with no. It was one of the states wanted to take him off the ballot, and they said that it was not constitutional, which would also affected the vote count too.
Okay, so right, but this is the thing. They probably would have wrote him in anyway. But here's the deal: he's allowed to run for president. Anybody can run for president. There's
Even
only,
yeah.
but you got to be American citizen. You got to be a certain age, and it's something else. It has nothing. It doesn't say anything about you being a former criminal. Anybody could. Charles Manson could have ran, right? But it's something to do with he can run, but he cannot be a sitting president. That was my understanding when he first started running. I was like, what the hell? What's going on? And I overheard someone say, a political person say, or a lawyer, they say he can run, but he's not gonna be able to be president of the United States or something like that. That's what my understanding is. I'll look it up. But that was my understanding. Because there's in the Constitution, it has something to do with the Constitution.
I had to look that up. I had to do. This is crazy. But you know what? Oh my gosh, I'm just happy that this Bad Bunny doing what he's doing, J-Lo and other people, and let's just see what's going on. It's almost over. Thank God. One way, let's just thank God. But I'm going to drop down because it's after 11. I have to get up in the morning. But this was good, and
Yeah, so Natasha says, how is it a felon can't vote, but you can run for president? Right. That's the whole thing that she says right here. How is it a felon can vote, but you can't vote, but then you can run for president? The Constitution was not meant for, I think they never thought that a felon would run for president and get as far as Donald Trump has gotten, right? Because it's all old stuff. And when there were felons, you can't vote, because that was to stop Black people, mostly Black people, from not being able to vote. So because they were locking up Black people. That's what that's all about. I mean, point blank, period. So it's a way to hinder Black people from voting. Just like I put up a video of an older Black woman, I think in Mississippi, that said that she had to pay $2 to vote. And sometimes because they were charging them $2 to put their vote in, taxes, $2 taxes, Black folks. And it was, sometimes you couldn't feed your family. So I had to decide, this is what she said, I had to decide, do I feed my family or do I vote? Because I need this $2 to feed my family, or do I vote? Do I exercise this right? This was in 1960. That's not that long ago. That is not that long ago. So, everybody, the rest of the night, talking to my husband, I said, the world is moving forward. And what we're doing is we're going backwards in this country because of people like Donald Trump, because of the Heritage Foundation and white nationalism. They are setting us back because they have issues with their penis sizes. They have issues with Black men and Black women getting ahead in life because they know through the history of this country, poll tax, thank you, through the history of this country, everything that people of color has done, we become successful in it. We are groundbreaking. We are a groundbreaking culture of people. I mean, that's just facts. Rap music, breakdancing, whatever it may be, fashion, whatever it may be. We fight for rights for the people. And that's what they cannot stand. That's when it becomes a threat to them. An educated Black person an educated Hispanic person, an educated Puerto Rican, an educated Asian is a threat to white man's America. It is what it is. It's a threat. And they're trying to dismantle that threat. And that's what's happening right now. So this is why they are doing what they're doing. So now I got to play the race card on your ass and make sure that these people get out and vote. Like I said, you can't save everybody. Everybody can't come with us. Just like they didn't go when Harriet Tubman came to free the slaves. You had some that wanted to stay back because it was good. They were content. And some people just are like that. And that's okay. That's what you want to be. If you still want to be enslaved and you still want to be mentally enslaved, that's your prerogative. Kudos to you. But a lot of us, and the majority of us, we are fighters and we are leaders. And we're not going to sit up here and allow anybody. You done already gave me my freedom. I know what it's like to be free. You think I'm going to be a slave? You out your mind. Okay? That's not going to happen. I'm not going to be mentally enslaved by you. And I'm definitely not going to be shackled by you. When I already had the taste of freedom, you out of your everlasting mind. It's not going to happen.
100%. And on that point, I'm going to drop down.
Thank you for
Have
coming
a good
up.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, everybody, I appreciate y'all all coming over here tonight. I appreciate Mel always jumping up, popping up. You know, whenever I drop the link, anybody is welcome to come up and talk about whatever you feel like talking about, just to let some of the anxiety that you may have that you're holding back, but it's going to be okay. You know, I truly believe that we are about to witness history in the making again. Okay. And America just has to be ready for it. And I think that they are. The majority of America is ready for it. Some are not. And that's okay. They need to be, you know, when it's time to wake up from the deep sleep, you'll wake up and you'll fall in line with the rest of us while we make America greater than it is already. Because it's already a great country, right? And we're just going to make it better because it can be better. So I love you guys. My plan is to come on again tomorrow night. So like I said last night, I guess I'm going to love on y'all tomorrow night. Y'all stay blessed and y'all get y'all some rest. Don't let anybody stress you out. And I hope tomorrow that y'all have a wonderful and beautiful day. I'll talk to y'all later. And y'all have a wonderful night. Love you.